Hello, welcome to Mods I Use, Part 3, Mini HUD. Mini HUD is exactly what it sounds like. You have a miniature HUD at the top left of your screen. Unlike the F3 window, it's a much bigger HUD. It's a lot of information. It clouds your screen. And yeah, we can do it a lot better than that. So we have Mini HUD. To get to our Mini HUD menu, we hold H and press C. And this is what we get. We get these different tabs, and we're going to go through the info lines first because that's what we're going to use to replace our F3 screen with a nice, clean information piece. So up top here, I have all these set to true, such as my FPS, my world time format, my coordinate scaled. Now the coordinate scale one's pretty cool. You know how you're in the overworld and you're like, oh, I wonder where this portal goes to on the nether side. Well, I have the coordinates for where I'm at now and what the equivalent is on the nether side up there in my coordinates list. Another cool piece here is you have information such as your region. That's another piece I use for my server. It's in here somewhere. It is right here, info region file. So if you can see on the top of the screen, we are in region r.0.-5. If I go into my server files and look for that region file, that is the file I exist in as my player in this world at this time. So if I wanted to keep this region here, this entire region, which I just happen to map this out, this is the entire region, it'll be carved out with our flying machines. I got to make sure I don't delete this file, and all this progress will be saved. There's a couple other pieces on Mini HUD as well you can use, such as info for zombie conversion, depending on what you're looking at. You can look at looking at effects. Now, some of these do require there to be a server plugin or server mod called Servux. So if you're playing on a server and this is not installed, some of the information may not be available to you. But there is one called Slime Chunk. If you can see on the top left of my screen, we have one called Slime Chunk. Are we in a Slime Chunk, yes or no? But for this one, you do need to know the seed. So you would have to type in /seed for the Mini HUD to know if this is a slime chunk or not. One of the cool things with Mini HUD is we can do something else called renderers. So we can do slime chunks like this. We can do a shortcut key and go, where are all our slime chunks at? Well, these are all the slime chunks. This is where they are based off of the seed. So this area has a lot of slime chunks. Mini HUD also does light level. If you look at the blocks on the ground, they each have a number on them, and they're green, meaning that not only are they light level 10 and 9, they're always 10 and 9, and they can't have mobs spawn on them. Now, if we go down here, let's go to another one. These ones have sky access, and some of these are still spawnable blocks. These are going to be 0. Even though it might be daytime right now, it's going to show that when it hits nighttime, these are going to be at 0. So you might want to spawn proof these or do something to maybe put carpet or enough light around here so that these things do not have mobs spawn on them. So what else does Mini HUD do? Mini HUD does renderers. So renders will show things like slime chunks, right? We have slime chunks. We also have a region file. If you notice that this is like a big chunk, right? This is 32 by 32 chunks. This is where the region file begins and ends. So you can see if you're going into a new region, or if you're exiting a region, or if you're intersecting a couple regions. It's really good to have so you can turn off and on when you need it. One of the ones in this list are beacon range. You will get a box, like a hologram box around a beacon to show if you were within the range. Same thing for conduits. If you're within the range of a conduit, you can turn that on to see if you are in the range of either of those blocks. So those are the main ones I use for renderers. Let's talk about the next one. Structures. Now, in this area, we happen to have a pillager outpost. So we're gonna turn this on, and right above me, you can see where this pillager outpost used to be. We're going to free cam, and yeah, the pillager outpost used to be about right here. So we are, of course, going to take this area and we're going to make it spawnable where we want things to spawn at, and make a pillager outpost farm out of here to get our raid potions. That's pretty cool. You have the same thing for other things like woodland mansions and sea temples and all those kinds of things. Especially useful for things like the sea temples and witch farms. You can see where the boundaries of these boxes are. Now, the one thing I want to show you is the shapes. If you look in here, they have shapes. I can show you in this world, but it'd be a lot better if I showed you in my creative world on this thing we're going to be building in this block right about over there where that lava is. So let's go to the creative world real quick, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. All right, welcome back. We are in creative, and I'm going to show you this general mob for my build and why they are spaced out like this. So I have determined this is going to be my AFK area. And in Java Edition, you may know that mobs will not spawn if they're too close to you in a spawnable space, but they will spawn if they are far enough away from you, but they'll also despawn if they're too far away from you. So I'm going to show you some shapes I use to determine proper distance. So if we go to shapes, we have a can spawn sphere. We're going to enable that. They can spawn if they are outside of this sphere. If they're outside of the sphere, they can spawn. So I have this tower here. I have this tower over here. This tower over here, which there are mobs on this one. And I have this tower over here. Mob spawning on that one. Now, just to make sure they're not too far away, we're going to go turn on our despawn sphere. They can despawn outside of here. This tool is really handy for determining spawning spaces for any kind of mob farm. Zombified piglin farm, general mob farm, Enderman, you name it. Let's go back to the SMP. All right, one last thing before I go. We're going to be going to the general menu. There's the generic menu. There are a couple things you can turn off and on here. I have turned some of these off and on, and some of these do require some more tinkering around with to get working, but I would recommend playing with these. Some things like food tooltips, turning those on, seeing what happens when you have food in your hand, or food for the tooltip. So you have these up here like restores 3 and saturation is 14.4. That's good information to know in the tooltip. I do recommend going through all these and seeing what you like to have on, what you like to have off. That's pretty much it for Mini HUD, guys. Well, that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you found the information useful. If you got questions or comments, you know where to leave them. And until next time, happy Minecrafting, and we'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.